Losing weight is easy, so why do we struggle to do it? Hi, I'm Will Brennan with DesertMountainApothecary.com. In my podcast about weight loss, I delve deep into the core issue of why weight loss is so hard for us. I identify the main stumbling block and how to overcome it. The three main fallacies about weight loss and exercise are exposed, and I explain how you can put yourself back into the driver's seat of your mind and choose the destination. Once you have, you can move on to easily retraining your mind to love a healthy diet and exercise. You deserve it. You deserve to feel good both in your body and about it. And here is practical, doable advice to get you there and keep you there. Please visit me at desertmountainapothecary.com and on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you so much for listening, and be kind to yourself.
I think this is very relevant to actually the vast majority of people in the United States because we are a majority overweight country and we have an obesity epidemic, which luckily seems like it's crested because I think popular culture is changing to be more healthful, which is huge progress. But people struggle so much with losing weight. It's so hard for them, and the consequences of not losing weight, of gaining more and more weight, and then going on to having lifelong, long-term diseases like diabetes, heart disease, all of the diseases that are associated with obesity, you could surmise that someone wouldn't have them if they weren't obese. So what keeps them from just eating less and maybe taking a walk every day and just only eating when they're hungry and not eating beyond their feeling of fullness? Why is that not available to people? And I think one of the biggest fallacies is that you have to spend money to diet and you have to spend money to exercise. Both of those things are free. First of all, dieting is not doing something. You are actively not eating. So why should you have to pay money to not eat? Just stop eating. It is as simple as that. Huge billions, if not trillions, sums of money are made complicating this incredibly simple fact. Anyone can get up off the sofa. If they're mobile, if they have two working legs, they can get up, they can put on sneakers, they can walk around the block, and they can keep doing it until they're exhausted. That doesn't cost any money. So these two fallacies give people an excuse that they don't have the money, they don't have the resources to this, and then they give the excuse as well to everyone who does have the money. Well, if I just go on this $1,000 juice cleanse, or if I just go to this $10,000 a week spa where they starve me, then I'll have the resources to lose weight. And most of those people end up really disappointed and disillusioned more so than ever because they had so much hope that these things would work and they put out the money. And for a lot of people, the money is pretty irrelevant, but it's their hope that they put into it, that feeling that this is going to be it, this is going to change. And if it doesn't address the core issue, which I think things like that rarely ever do, then it's not going to change. Because if you do a fasting, like a 7-day fasting or something, you're just slowing down your metabolism. Slower and slower and slower because the body says, oh my God, I'm not going to survive. Oh my God, our regular supply of food is gone. Every morsel of food I get, I'm going to store as fat because I don't know, we're going to have these 7 days of starvation. And oh my goodness, what happened? How could we get to where we don't even eat for 7 days? Oh my God, what if it's 14 days? And your metabolism gets slower and slower and slower. And when you go back to what you were doing before, it just piles on. So you've just made things worse for yourself. $10,000 in a week of your life later. It's sad. It's really sad. And why is it that otherwise educated, intelligent, successful people struggle so much with something that is actually completely internal. It doesn't even the solution and the problem are both internal. So I've gained let's see, I came to California 6 years ago weighing maybe 160 pounds, 155 pounds ish, maybe like say 150 pounds because I was a little scrawny when I came. So lived out here for 3 years and I probably gained say 15, 20 pounds. Then I turned 30 and then gained another say 15 pounds. So 30, 40 pounds fluctuating. And I was underweight before, so I bulked up and it was good. And then that extra 15, 20 pounds was genuinely being overweight. So I don't think of losing weight as hard. I never have thought of losing weight as hard, but I finally isolated what was hard about it. And it's something I knew instinctively, but couldn't quite connect to. And recently, I really isolated the fact that it's the decision. Just once you've made the decision in your mind, once the ambivalence is gone and your mind isn't wrestling with these contradictions, it is so simple and it's pleasurable. And you think, wow, you have more energy. You don't spend as much money because you're not eating as much. If you don't eat as much in one sitting, you don't feel overfull. You don't have a stomach ache after eating. You're not taking time throughout the day to prepare and eat and clean or stop at a restaurant and I thought, wow, as soon as my mind just settled on the fact that, I'm worth looking great. I was underweight for most of my life, and then, like a lot of people, you turn 30 and your metabolism slows down and continues to slow down further than that throughout the rest of your life. And it is easy for me to lose weight. Like, I don't have to fight the pounds off, but something's changed now where I just want that food so badly, whereas before I could take it or leave it. And I thought, wow, what is different? Why do I want to have that pizza or that burrito or that hamburger? Why do I want to have that? And I can have it. I strongly believe in cheat days and, rewards for good progress and creating good habits. But once I finally said to myself, yeah, you're worth looking good. You're worth having a slim waistline, because that's where I gained the weight right at my love handles and my abdomen. So that just looks really bad. And it's amazing how once I told my mind that you're worth losing the weight. It's a minimal effort. You're worth it. There's other things to do besides cooking big heavy meals and cleaning up after them and eating them. There's other things you want to do, and you want to fit into all your nice clothes. Then all you have to do is eat lightly and maybe push yourself a little harder at the gym for however long. And if that's okay. You could say like, oh, well, you're a generally healthy person. You've always worked out, and you've eaten health. Most people, it's funny. Some people think I eat so healthy, and they think I'm so obsessed with it. And then other people think that I eat so unhealthy because the people that I share my healthy weeknight meals with think that I'm totally overboard health nut, and the people that I share my cheat meals think that I'm like one of those people that looks good on the outside, but their insides are totally rotten with junk food. And it's kind of hilarious because you can have both. If there's something you want to eat, you can have it. You can't have it every day. You can't have it in a huge amount that's bigger than your stomach itself. But you can have it. Just compensate for it elsewhere, keep your portions under control, and enjoy every single bite and morsel, and eat it mindfully and enjoy it. So, okay, fine. I'm not going to eat junk food every single day of the week. Whatever. I cook food that's flavorful, that tastes good, it's lighter, it's healthier. I'm hardly suffering. I'm not suffering at all. And it's just, that is really, that took more effort and more decision-making effort than all the little decisions of, am I going to have a big pastry for breakfast, or am I going to have a little grain-free granola and almond milk and an apple? The effort of those little daily decisions now, I feel like, have just been completely eclipsed because of the one big decision. And it's really a testament to the power of the mind. And, our mind responds to direction. Like, look how other people can sometimes spin us just totally away from what we had intended in any given situation. Or there's something about the mind that it's so suggestible, and it can make you feel powerless, but it's ultimately so empowering because someone else put a suggestion into you. Maybe it's negative. Usually they are. Usually that's what the mind holds on to, is all the negative and all the pain. So if someone puts on, and a person has more and more responsibilities, and especially family responsibilities, well, sure, of course you're going to have nothing but outside stimuli that says, I need your attention, your time is not your own, your time is not your own. And, that's only natural. It's a shame that what isn't more natural is, I need to nurture myself, and I need to care for myself, and I need to actively manage my own well-being so that I can take care of all these responsibilities and children and pets and job and house. And when we go so far away from ourselves, it's hard to ever imagine coming back into your mind and coming back in possession of your own mind. And unfortunately, it's something that you see, everywhere. People so overstimulated, so distracted, so disconnected from themselves. So to actually get back into your own mind, act back in the driver's seat, and say to yourself, I'm worth looking good. Who cares if people think that's vain? I'm worth feeling good. If you're overweight, your knees probably hurt. You probably don't want to get up and walk somewhere because your knees and your ankles hurt because of all the weight on those joints. Those joints were not designed to hold that much weight. It's like someone in the military who has a backpack filled with lead weights. That's what you're doing every second of every day. Your body was not designed to be that way. Evolutionary biology would not have made you that way. You would have never survived in nature like that. So to go back into your mind and say, yeah, I can melt this. I can melt this off. I can use up all these spare calories that I'm holding on to. It's empowering. And we live in an age of empowerment scams and multi-level marketing empowerment scams, and empowerment is free. Anyone that is trying to sell you empowerment, in my mind, it's not that it's not worth paying money for information that will empower you. It's just that the ultimate empowerment happens completely internally, and in this day and age, almost all information is available at pretty much no cost. So when you can take that attitude of, well, I'm going to go back in the driver's seat. I'm going to get back in the driver's seat of my mind. I'm going to direct my mind. And you say, yeah, it'll happen a little at a time, day in, day out, but this is worth it to me, and things are different now. So in terms of actual tangible advice, this is my big advice. And say it to yourself, say it to the wall, say it to the room, say it to the mirror, say it to you while you drive. Think it, visualize it in your mind. I'm enough. I'm worth it. I'm worth losing weight for. I'm worth going to gym for. And then get that into your mind. It doesn't matter if you think it's stupid. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it when you say it. Keep saying it. Everybody is enough. Everybody is worth owning their own health and feeling good. So there's truth to it. It's not a lie. You're not telling yourself I'm the goddess of Franistan. You're just telling yourself the simple truth that you are worth taking care of, and you're worth feeling good. And if you have children and grandchildren and people in your life that you love, pets, anyone, anything, you want to be around and mobile and healthy to enjoy them. So that's pretty much the first layer. And then the second layer is to direct your mind and to tell it how you feel. And this can be jarring to people, but it's surprising how effective it is. And it's surprising how directly we can command our mind. And tell yourself, I love eating healthy food. I love dieting. I feel so good when I'm dieting. You will be shocked. You'll change your attitude, and just keep telling yourself, I love dieting. You're miserable. You're having a blood sugar crash. You're going to pass out. You're like driving around McDonald's, circling the drive-thru. Just tell yourself, like, I love dieting. I love dieting. I love eating healthy. I love healthy foods. I love fruits and vegetables. I love how good my stomach feels when I'm eating fruits and vegetables. And just tell yourself over and over and over and over again. And your brain will go, oh, okay, we like this. Okay, thanks for telling me. I was wondering what we liked. And then, now, my personal advice, and I really, really think that this is one of the biggest fallacies out there, maybe like the third big fallacy, is that you can lose weight from exercise. You're really setting yourself up to fail if you expect to lose weight exercising. You might lose a little bit of weight, and you'll hopefully like tone up, but exercise makes you very hungry. So a lot of times if we go and exercise and we're not kind of in the groove of it, we'll be so starving when we come out that we're just completely lose all self-control. And then it's like, well, I did that workout, so I'm going to have, the 1,500 calorie double bacon cheeseburger. And that's not going to work. That's just setting yourself up for failure. So just say that, just this is off the top of my head. I don't know if there's any one, hard and fast figure for it. But in my mind, weight loss and diet and 20% exercise, if that. I mean, you are definitely, when you're burning calories by movement, yes, if you are, your stomach is not absolutely full of food, you're not digesting a whole bunch of food, yes, it's going to find that energy in your stored fat. So yes, you definitely want to use up more calories than you're taking in. So of course, movement is part of that. But there's no amount of exercise, especially if you've been overweight and your joints have taken the strain of that, there's no amount of exercise that could keep up with the previous diet that made you so fat. So that's another thing to come to terms with. I had to come to terms with that because for a while that did work for me and I could pretty much eat what I wanted, but it just didn't work as time went on. It wasn't, I was setting myself up for failure and I did fail. So that's when I went into, I basically had maybe a couple stages of getting more control over my body and making it look and feel inside the way I wanted to feel. And I did the Paleo Whole 30 for about 6 weeks. So I guess I did the Paleo 45 or whatever. and never looked better. Like, I could see all my muscles, and my skin was shiny, my hair was shiny, my nails were strong, but I felt so deprived that it wasn't sustainable. And I got to a point where I just wanted to eat however I wanted to eat, and I felt angry and deprived not being able to have it. So, then I went the other direction. And finally, the only thing that really worked for me is having 5 days a week of predominantly paleo and Mediterranean diet food. So that's very light on any wheat or pretty light on dairy. No, as minimally processed, as little processed food as possible. And then on the weekends, I just eat whatever I want. It doesn't matter. And, I do have to earn that weekend. So if I've been bad throughout the week, well then I don't really deserve a cheat reward week. And for some people, 5 days of healthy eating and 2 days of indulging wouldn't work for them because they have so much farther to go. But I really do think that you have to reward yourself with whatever you want to eat intermittently, because yes, it's important to make new habits. That is really, and familiarize yourself with healthy eating and make that your new way of life. But when we completely disconnect ourselves from what we love and I do think that it's not sustainable, because it's not like, with food addiction, you could say, well, yeah, that probably is just as bad for your body as hardcore drug addiction. But if you're generally healthy, you can have a little bit of junk food here and there. It's certainly better if you don't. But I think if you're eating 85% healthy, it's okay as long as the portions are not so big that your body can't compensate for it otherwise. I do think it's important because it connects you to memories and just, especially food has such an emotional component to it because of the sensory memory aspect of it. So cooking something, especially something your family cooked, or family recipes from your ancestral country, you do feel very connected with your ancestors and your family, and it would be awful to completely disconnect yourself from that. Like, for example, my mother is Latina, and so I used to eat lots and lots and lots of Latin food, because pretty much every day of the week, because it's very cost effective to eat that way. Rice and beans, you take kind of lower end cuts of meat and you sort of make them into something. You can cook plantains. You can cook for an army with Latin food primarily. I mean, it's very common to have very big families, or for multi-generations to live together. So I ate that way because that's how I could afford to eat, but it was not good for me. I had the worst digestion of my life when I was eating that every single day. And with the same money, I could have chosen different things. It may not have been exactly what I wanted to eat, but I wouldn't have gone hungry, and my digestion wouldn't have been so off, which was really hard for me at the time. It was really interfering with my life. So once in a while, now I know objectively, okay, don't eat rice and beans every night. Don't eat fried, just don't eat, and a lot of that food is not on the healthy side because they're trying to add flavor to things that are not like prime cuts, because it's, there's like the nice Latin food that you go out to for a nice meal, and then there's the home cooking. So learning to make healthier versions of those same foods and have the same flavors has been great. And B is saving them for special occasions. So I'll make rice and beans for a special occasion. I don't do it very often, but I also don't feel like I can't if I want to. So I think that's really finding the balance, because in any endeavor, finding the balance is key, because I'm talking about weight loss. So if you go in either direction, it's it's detrimental, if not deadly. Go in the direction of overeating, you can become obese. Go in the direction of undereating, that's anorexia. So neither of those things is a valid way to eat if you value your health. And just like that, exercise, you can, someone who's exercising 4 hours a day, that's a form of an eating disorder, and that's a form of abusing the self. That's not healthy, and that will lead to that can lead to a lot of problems. Most importantly, overuse of your joints, ligaments, and tendons. So just like with diet, exercising is finding a balance. Not working out for 4 hours a day unless maybe you're competing for the Olympics or something. Never working out, never getting up off your sofa. And that's, if you can find the balance in both of those things, you'll improve your life immeasurably. And I want everyone who listens to this to believe that you're worth putting in this minimal effort to enhance your feeling of well-being and your day-to-day life. B, know that you can tell your brain to do it and it will do it. And C, knowing that you can do it. It is possible. There are very few situations where someone would actively diet, actively exercise, and not lose any weight. In my mind, those would be if you've taken a medication that just packs the weight on, like, for example, you've taken a really strong steroid, or you have been given one of those antidepressants that blows people up. That would be an exception to that. But for the majority of people, it is going to work. And your body will resist at first, and it won't be easy, but it'll work. And don't do it quickly. Don't starve yourself. Don't crash your metabolism. Don't make it so miserable that all you associate with dieting is absolute misery. Just do it slowly. I suggest losing a pound a week. Most people I know losing weight lose 3 pounds a week, and I say, just slow. Do it really slowly. Your skin will shrink as you lose the weight slowly. You'll make smaller and more lasting lifestyle adjustments. There's no need to crash diet. And there's no need to be miserable doing it. Tell your mind, I love dieting. I love exercising. I love the feeling of not having a full stomach. You'll be shocked how easy it is. So remember those 3 things again. Tell yourself you're worth it. Tell your mind how it's going to feel and how good it feels. And tell your mind that it's possible. Really, really, really believe it's possible. If you've never had any success losing weight, this time is going to be different, because you'll finally get to the core issue. If every endeavor that you have taken hasn't yielded any results, then fine. You're still around to hear it and do something different. And that core issue, I'm guessing, is that you don't feel worth it. So if you tell yourself that you are, well, that's a pretty good first step. And then tell yourself over and over and over and over. Well, I'll tell you what, this talk has made me starving.
Thank you so much for listening. Once again, this is Will Brennan with Desert Mountain Apothecary. Please visit me at desertmountainapothecary.com, and I'm Desert Mountain Apothecary on YouTube and Instagram.